Sri Gyanamata, one of the foremost disciples of Master in the early years, encouraged us to think, he came for me. And then to resolve, I have met my Guru, he has come. Now I must be receptive to him. I've met my Guru, he has come. Now I must be receptive to him. In the Holy Science, Sri Yukteswar has shared with us the secret of drawing closer to the Guru and of increasing our receptivity. He said, to keep company with the Guru is not only to be in his physical presence, as this is sometimes impossible, but mainly means to keep him in our hearts and to be one with him in principle and attune ourselves with him. He also emphasizes that to keep company with the Guru is to associate him with our heart's love by keeping his appearance and attributes fully in mind and by reflecting on the same and affectionately following his instructions, lamb-like. So what Sri Yukteswar is emphasizing is inner attunement. We don't have to be in the Guru's physical presence to receive his guidance and his blessings. The great saints throughout the ages have proved that. For example, Saint Francis, he lived centuries after Christ, but he saw his Guru every night in meditation. And the Indian Saint Mirabai, she lived centuries after Krishna, and yet she united her consciousness completely with him. And so we too, even if we have come to this path after Master's passing, we can know him, we can be close to him through devotion and through practicing his teachings. Before Master left his physical form, he promised JaiMataji, when I have left this world, you will find my love will always be with you, and you will always feel it, even after I am gone. She said, how it thrills me to remember those words. They were not just for myself, for his love is just as deeply and constantly with all of you who are his disciples. JaiMataji went on to say, Master has no favorites, any more than the divine has favorites. It is for you to strive for the mental attunement that determines how much you are able to receive. So how do we deepen our attunement with Master? Someone once asked Guruji how Rajarsi Janakananda was able to progress so quickly on the spiritual path. And Master said, he knows how to listen. So we all need to learn how to listen to the Guru. He may not be here to talk to us in person, but through his writings and through all of the recordings we have of his voice, we have his guidance on just about any subject. And in reading and hearing his words, we are absorbing not just the words, but that the power of that divine consciousness in which those words were written and spoken. We're really putting ourselves into his presence, especially if we think, he's talking to me. That was the spirit that JaiMataji always had. She used to keep a copy of the spiritual diary on her desk, and whenever she had a moment in between appointments, she would just sit quietly and read from it. And sometimes when we entered her study, she would actually read that passage out loud with such enthusiasm, as if it was the first time she ever read it. Master's words never became just routine for her. She always found new inspiration in them. She told us, I never leave my room in the morning without reading something from Master and thinking how I can apply it during the day. And that's certainly something we can do too. Sri Mrilini Mata, who has worked with Master's writings throughout her life, has reminded us not to be intimidated if in reading Master's writings we sometimes come across metaphysical concepts that we don't fully understand yet or that are beyond our present experience. She said, don't worry about it, read those scriptures anyway, because just by absorbing as much as we can now, our consciousness is being uplifted and changed. This point is also illustrated by a beautiful traditional story in India. It's about a young boy who was studying the Bhagavad Gita at the ashram of a great sage. He loved hearing the sage's discourses about the Gita. But he was concerned because he really couldn't retain much of it. So one day he brought his problem to his teacher, and his teacher gave him a basket. It had been used to carry coal, so it was all black inside, and he told him to fetch water in the basket. So the boy went and tried to fetch the water, but of course it ran out of the basket. The sage had him do it 5 times, and each time the boy ran faster, but still the water always ran out. And finally he got very frustrated, and he said, "Teacher, it's useless to try to bring water back in this basket." And the sage said, "Useless? Look inside the basket." So he looked, and he saw that the basket had indeed changed. It was clean. The water had washed away the coal dust. And the sage explained, you may not remember or understand everything when we study the Bhagavad Gita, but even just listening with patience and reverence will gradually change your consciousness until your heart is cleansed of mortal delusion and fears. He added, God is no scholar, but a lover. If you seek him sincerely, one day you will see that he has transformed you utterly. So that is the power of God's love flowing through the Guru's words when we really study them with devotion and with reverence.